Let's meet John Smith Sr. Today, we find John Smith Sr. living here in this warehouse at assisted living facility. I see that he's a male, he's 6'1", 165 pounds, blue eyes, gray hair, and he was born in 1945. He's currently 82 years old, and he has the Social Security number and unique ID currently of 9. So John Smith wants to tell you the story about his life. So he says, let's start at the beginning. To do that, I want to take that Social Security number and trace that all the way back to the beginning. The Social Security number will tell the story of his complete life. Here on this purchase receiver, we see that John Smith was received from the city hospital. He was a person, but now he's a better person. Notice all of his attributes. He's male, he's 6 pounds 10 ounces, he's 25 inches, his hair is none, and his eyes are blue. He's 0 years old, and he was born in 1945. I can look and see anything attached to that. Let's take a look at what he looked like. I can see his birth certificate, but John Smith doesn't exist in that version of himself today. So where did he go? How did he become the better version of himself that's an old man? Well, let's find out from this record. It's very easy to trace through the unique ID to find out where this instance came from and where this instance went to. I'm gonna trace that by the unique ID. And that shows me, well, he came from the city hospital, but here he went somewhere. So let's look at that document. Well, this is a warehouse transfer. It shows that he was at his home and he moved to another home. That move generates a brand new unique ID, although the original Social Security number stayed the same. But now all the attributes of John Smith are different. We can look now and see that he's male. He's 25 pounds. He's 3 foot tall. He's still got no hair, blue eyes. He's now 2 years old. But again, he does not exist today. Let's follow it along. Well, where did that instance of him go? Well, this is where he came from, so this is where he went. Here's a purchase shipper. Looks like he went off to school. He left on this date. He was 25 pounds when he left. And he became this version of himself. He's now male, 140 pounds, 5'2", brown hair, blue eyes. He's 17 years old, and he was still born in 1945. Notice the incremented unique ID, but the constant Social Security number. Now, what happened to this instance of John Smith? Well, he was received back from school, and he left again. Let's see where he went. Now it looks like he had a birthday party representing an internal event inside your company that you want to trace, like a work order. So here he entered into this work order as this person. He left this work order changed, simulated by this person. Notice now he's 18 years old. He's a bit bigger, fit, brown hair, blue eyes, but again, he doesn't exist. Where did he go? Trace that by the unique ID again. He came back from this work order. He left for his dream job. This represents a sales order where a part leaves your system, never expecting to return. So this is the version of John Smith that left home. Again, never expected to come back. Now we see that John Smith did in fact come back because there's another entry here. So let's see what happened. Well, it looks like this time he came back on an RMA. He came back from his dream job because he got fired, had to come home. Now he's a bit older, a bit less fit, and he has now become this version of himself. He's 25 years old, He's now got black hair, still blue eyes, a bit larger. And that's the last time we see John Smith. Well, where did this version of John Smith go? Just how we have to get to John Smith Sr. Well, let's trace it again by that unique ID. I see that he came in on this dream company, he left on some career training. So let's take a look at that. Now we're back on the purchasing side of the house. John Smith is now leaving home again. He's leaving as this version of himself. And he's coming back no longer just a person, he's coming back a better person. So let's go find the better version of John Smith. So now I'm going to trace this back using the Social Security number. And I can see this purchase receiver. This is where John Smith returned. He's now a fitter version of himself. He's 6'1". He was a person. Now he's a better person and looks like he's taken on a new serial number. Added the senior to his name. So let's go look at that version of John Smith. That brings us over here. It's a brand new part number, brand new record. The constant is the Social Security number. This is the record of him again. He's 35 years old, still born in 1945. And then finally, many years pass. The next version we see of John Smith is he's 82 years old. He's 1945, but how did he go from here to here? Notice the warehouse changed. Let's trace that by that unique ID. And I see that this John Smith was received in on a warehouse transfer because he moved from his address at 456 Main Street into his address at the assisted living facility. And that's where he sits today. Now there's one final step in this ultimate cradle to grave experience that unfortunately must happen. John Smith eventually passes away, and we have to take care of that in the system. The final entry of John Smith's life will be a quantity adjustment, where he gets subtracted out because he died of old age. So the conclusion here is understanding this relationship between the Social Security number, which should never change throughout a journey of a life of a part in your system, and the uniqueness of each and every point in time of the unique ID. It's always fully traceable. Cradle to grave trace, from birth through each school, through each warehouse transfer, to ultimately the stock adjustment. Or at any instance along the way, you can see each and every change through the unique ID relationship and the Social Security number relationship to give you the part numbers changing, the serial numbers changing, all of the attributes of this person changing throughout life, and the constants. At any moment, you can look back at the beginning, see everything about that beginning, including the original images, the original documentation, the original birth certificates, etc. Well, I hope this journey through John Smith Sr.'s life has helped you gain a better understanding of the complex relationships between the SSN and the uniqueness of the UID number within the system to make sure any transaction is absolutely fully traceable throughout history. Thanks for your time.